जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद। जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद। जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंगायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणम्। So this is Madhya Leela 7th chapter 73rd verse. Vajradapi kathorani mruduni kusumadapi lokottaranam chetamsi konu vidnyatum ishvarah. Vajradapi kathorani mriduni kusumadapi lokottaranam chetamsi konu vidnyatum ishvarah. Vajradapi kathorani mriduni kusumadapi lokottaranam chetamsi konu vidnyatum ishvarah. One amongst Prabhujis and one amongst Matajis can recite. Vajradapi kathorani I'll read the translation. Translation by His Divine is Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is not chosen to give purport to this verse. Translation is, the hearts of those above common behavior are sometimes harder than a thunderbolt and sometimes softer than a flower. How can one accommodate such contradictions in great personalities? Okay. So what's going on here is Lord Chaitanya, after having delivered Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, and we find in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he's very soft, very, very soft person. All throughout his dealings with Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya and at Jagannath Puri. And then Lord Chaitanya decided that I want to travel to South India. He stayed for just 2 months and he decided I'm going to travel to South India. He told devotees, I'm going in search of my brother. Dakshina Desh Uddharite Korila Chal. But his idea was to deliver the entire South India, to preach the message. So when he's about to leave, Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, so Lord Chaitanya is supposed to go to Alalnath first. How many of you been to Alalnath? So we go by bus or we take autos in Jagannath Puri now, but actual route was through the from the ocean side. They would walk from the beach side along the beach and reach Alarnath. So Sarvam Bhattacharya told Gopinath Acharya, get the extra set of clothes that I have kept for Lord Chaitanya. That has to be given. That he says, and then he places a request to Lord Chaitanya. His request is, when you go to South India, and especially you'll reach a place called Kovur. There, one person by the name Ramananda Rai, who is the governor of the Chennai province, right? He's a politician, and he's the son of Vaninath Rai in Jagannath Puri. But whenever he was here, he would talk about beautiful pastimes of Radha and Krishna and Madhurya Bhakti. And before I met you, I was a Gyani, right? And I would not appreciate his talks, and I would consider him a sentimental person. Right? That's what I would think of. Oh, he's a sentimentalist, right? And I would not, yeah. So I would not give him time. I would not appreciate him. But then he told Lord Chaitanya, please, my request to you is, do meet him. Do not neglect him. He's a great devotee. And in his association, you'll be very glad in his association. So Lord Chaitanya accepted that proposal. And Lord Chaitanya is about to depart mm, to South India. Right? And when Lord Chaitanya moved ahead, Sarvam Bhattacharya, now it kind of sunk in into him. He's going. Will he come back or not? I am not allowed to go with him. And he's leaving. And Sarvam Bhattacharya, who is so dear to Lord Chaitanya now, he's crying and he falls unconscious. And this verse is being recited here by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami out of amazement. How does this happen? Lord Chaitanya, who is like softer than a flower, suddenly has become kathor, solid like stone. Vajrat api kathorani. Huh? So properly saying in the translation, the hearts of those above common behavior are sometimes harder than a thunderbolt. Because everyone was looking, Lord Chaitanya should have turned back and looked at, Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya's situation. No, he moves on. He's strong like thunderbolt. Now no more soft attitude here. He moves on. Before this, where was the same similar kind of verses repeated in Chaitanya Charitamrita is when Mahaprabhu comes to uh, Shantipur after taking sannyas. Mother Shachi is called. 10 days of festival happens, and Mother Shachi faints, but he moves on. Otherwise, so soft, and suddenly is hard. The third time you'll find in the same section ahead, you'll find uh, Gadadhar Pandit. He will continue walking with Lord Chaitanya. A point will come at Katak where Lord Chaitanya will take the boat. Right? He'll go on to the boat, and Lord Chaitanya will tell him, "No, you're not coming. You have taken Kshetra Sannyas." Gadadhar Pandit had left Mayapur and came to Jagannath Puri because if you have taken sannyas, I am coming behind. I am not staying there. And because you decided, Lord Chaitanya, to stay in Jagannath Puri, I have taken Kshetra sannyas here. I will not go out of Jagannath Puri. Now Lord Chaitanya is going out and he feels, I also want to come. There's an argument that happens. No, no, your dharma is to follow your Kshetra sannyas now. I should not be the cause of breaking of your vow. Right? And Lord Chaitanya goes ahead, and Gadadhar Pandit falls unconscious on the ground on the bank of the river. And Lord Chaitanya doesn't turn also, just moves on. So Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, three places, he's like, how does he do it? How is it the same person we know? He's so soft, he's so mrudu. Why is he so hard suddenly like a thunderbolt? So we'll try to discuss something on this topic. महाअनुभावेर चित्तेर स्वभाव यही है पुष्प सम कोमल कठिन वज्रमय. Krishnas Kaviraj Goswami, for the same Sanskrit verse, he says, Mahanubhaver, great souls, Chittera, their heart, Swabhav yehi hai. That's their Swabhava. Generally, pushpa sama komal, very soft, like flower, but kathin vajramoy, hard as a thunderbolt. Hmm? So uh, ultimately, Nityanand Prabhu has to raise Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya from the ground, and he calls for some more men to help carry him. Lord Chaitanya does not even turn. What happened to the old man? Oh, he's unconscious. No, he doesn't. He moves on. So while practicing bhakti, we all also now why this difference in behavior, komal and kathor, soft and hard. We need to have a combination of this. Right? Srila Prabhupada would say, heart that of a Bengali mother, right, and courage like that of an Englishman. Prabhupada's way of putting it, heart of a Bengali mother. Not to say that mothers of other regions are less motherly or something like that, right? But heart of a Bengali mother and courage that of an Englishman. Prabhupada says that's how we have to be there, right? So Prabhupada was one time walking in Calcutta, Victoria Memorial, that area. Victoria Memorial, the huge structure that they have created. So on that, some scaffolding was already there, and the laborers were supposed to do some painting job. And Prabhupada is walking along with his disciples, and Prabhupada told devotees, you know, when I was your age, I would climb such scaffolding and go up. Right? And one disciple said, Prabhupada, you are very courageous. Prabhupada said, I am disciple. I am the guru of the whole world. I did not become the guru of the whole world just like that. You have to be courageous. Right? Otherwise, very soft. Oh, Prabhupada is also like that. Sometimes devotees would experience emotions. He's very soft, and suddenly, when it comes to some tattva, something comes to dharma, Prabhupada is very strict. Right? So we can be stone-hearted, we can be soft-hearted, or we could become weak-hearted. Because spiritual life is a matter of heart, emotions, right? We want to develop bhava for Krishna, right? And as we are practicing bhakti, bhakti has to simultaneously go on two tracks. One is called viraga and another is called anuraga. So viraga means detachment, right? Viraga from sense objects, right? Viraga from sense objects, and anuraga for Krishna, love for Krishna, right? So when we are going on these two tracks, when we are traveling on these two tracks, viraga and anuraga, right? Simultaneously, both have to be cultivated. Detachment and love for Krishna. What happens on the way? On the way, many devotees may commit a mistake, or I'll say many practicing sadhakas will commit a mistake of putting anurag for sense objects. Understand? Viraga was for sense objects and anurag was for Krishna. But what happens? The direction can sometimes changes. Very good practitioners, very serious practitioners. The balance was to be kusumad and kathor. At the right time, you have to be kathor. At the right time, you have to be strong, strict. But when you cannot, when weak is strong, that's our topic. Okay. So now we'll analyze three characters from Bhagavatam for this. The three characters are Ashwathama, Draupadi, and Bharat Maharaj. Okay. Soft hearted, stone hearted, soft hearted, and weak hearted. Bhakti is matter of heart. So now in the first canto of Bhagavatam, you have the story of how Ashwathama he decided that I want to please Duryodhan. Duryodhan's uh, thighs have been broken by Bhim. He's lying on the banks of that lake, small lake, and he's half dead. Hmm? And Ashwathama goes to him and assures, I will take revenge. Right? He, Kritavarma, and Kripacharya, three people go, right? And now the battle is over. Pandavas and everyone are in their camp, and they decide in the dead of the night, two of them would stand outside guarding, and Ashwatthama will go in. While they are sleeping, Pandavas have to be hacked. They'll be killed. Right? So Ashwatthama decides, I will go. But what had happened that night was Krishna told Pandavas the general rule is the victorious in the battle, whichever side is victorious, they should not stay in their camp on the last day. Right? They should go out and stay somewhere else. So Krishna takes them at a certain distance under a banyan tree. They all sit and whole night they spend discussing, talking. But Ashwatthama is not aware that Krishna has done this. And Ashwatthama comes to the camp. And when Ashwatthama sees that Pandavas are not there, what do I do? I have to go back to Duryodhan. He sees the five sleeping sons of Draupadi, right? Five sons of Pandavas, small boys. And what does he do? Uh, he hacks them. He cuts off their heads, sleeping, children, and he collects all these heads, five heads, right? Very merciless, and I'm calling him stone-hearted, right? What is Ashwatthama? Ashwatthama's case is of being somebody being stone-hearted to the point no sentiments in his heart. He's become stone-hearted, no sentiments there. And Ashwatthama, in his pride that I have at least killed and avenged, some I have done something. He feels Duryodhan will be very happy, and he knows that he's actually half dead. He is not even able to open his eyes. So Ashwatthama carries these five heads in a plate and presents it in front of Duryodhan. And Duryodhan says, impossible. You cannot kill five Pandavas. Why? Krishna is still there. You cannot kill like that. He says, bring them close to me. And with his left hand, Duryodhan holds one head and he crushes it. He says, this cannot be Pandavas. And Duryodhan says, these are the heads of Draupadi's children. And Duryodhan starts crying. He says, now I'll go to hell for sure. I would I was going to die like a Kshatriya, but because of you, I will go to hell. And Duryodhan dies in that pain. He would not die otherwise. Right? He was holding on. But because something like this was done. So Ashwatthama's case is, right, where there is literally no sentiments remaining in the heart. Right? This is stone-hearted. In bhakti, are we supposed to become stone-hearted? We are not. Hard-hearted, stone-hearted, no sentiments. Right? So Ashwatthama's case mm, uh, is a case of being stone-hearted, and even Duryodhan, the evil-minded Duryodhan, also disapproved that heinous act. Now, what happens when Draupadi comes to know, oh, my children are dead, right? When she gets to, she hears the fate of her sons, she's crying, and Arjuna pacifies her. I will go behind Ashwatthama and I will catch him. First, he says, I'll cut off his head and bring that head to you. I'll bring that. Then Krishna and Arjuna leave, and Ashwatthama, fearing his death, Ashwatthama releases a Brahmastra, and Arjuna counters the weapon by his Brahmastra after taking blessings from Krishna and fulfilling his promise. He decides, I will not kill Ashwatthama. He decides, I will take Ashwatthama alive in front of Draupadi. Now, Draupadi's case is of somebody who has lost her five sons. What Arjuna had promised and she had desired, bring Ashwatthama, right? Now Ashwatthama is in front of her, right? And Arjuna says, you decide what is to be done. Krishna has already said, I want him to be killed. He should not be left. He should be killed, right? But now Draupadi thinks, she says, I have lost my sons and I'm in pain. Ashwatthama is the son of Drona, our guru. We should be grateful to our guru. Plus, his mother, Kripi, right? Kripacharya's sister, Kripi, she only will have Ashwatthama with her. If we kill Ashwatthama, she will be in similar pain as mine. I don't want her to go through the same pain, right? So now, when Draupadi decides like this, everyone appreciates, and Srila Prabhupada, in the purport to first canto, 7th chapter, 43rd verse, Prabhupada says, Draupadi desired that Ashwatthama be at once released, and it was all the same a good sentiment for her. This means that a devotee of the Lord can tolerate all sorts of tribulation personally, but still, such devotees are never unkind to others, even to the enemy. These are the characteristics of one who is a pure devotee of the Lord. So Krishna appreciates, Prabhupada appreciates. Oh, she's the soft-hearted one. So Ashwathama, the stone-hearted guy, right? Draupadi has a soft heart. And now we take the third case is of um, Bharat Maharaj, right? So, so Ashwathama's case is when there are no sentiments, right? What is Draupadi's case? When sentiments are balanced with sensitivity, right? And Bharat Maharaj's case is of the weak-hearted one, right? Where sensitivity turns into sentimentalism. Right? What happened with Bharat Maharaj is he was a great king. Right? He was ruling his kingdom. He divided his kingdom amongst his sons. Retired from family life. He chose a place like Pulha Ashram. Right? Last time I was there, I went and sat in the cave where Bharat Maharaj performed his bhajan. It was difficult to reach there, but it was a good place to go. It's in Nepal. Right? So near it's on the bank of Gandaki River where you find Shaligram Shilas. Hmm? So he was performing meditation, and we all know the story. What happened while he was performing his bhajan one day? He saw that a deer, right, out of fear of a lion, she jumped into the river, crossed the other side, but you know she had a miscarriage, and the mother died, and the baby kind of slipped into the river. Bharat Maharaj couldn't. What should I do? I have left everything. I am sitting here performing bhajan. Why such a scene in front of me? Maybe Krishna is arranged. At least I should go and help and save the baby deer. What did he do? He saved the baby deer, lifted it, brought it to his ashram, right? And Prabhupada there says a devotee is naturally compassionate to all the living beings, sensitive. He rescued the baby deer, which is everyone says, oh, very good, good act. Somebody has helped, right? But what happened as the days went by? Bharat Maharaj, in the story we find, he became so affectionate to the deer. He would keep the baby deer on his lap while he's chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Right? While he's chanting, he's caressing it, patting it, right? And Bhagavatam says sometimes he would even kiss the baby deer out of love. Wow, my baby, my baby. Right? And what happened? Very soon, very soon, he forgot the rules and regulations, and he forgot even his bhajan. The deer became so dear, right? So dear, right? So he became so sensitive to save the deer, baby deer. He was sensitive, but became so sensitive to the needs of the baby deer that forgot his bhajan. Right? So he forgot his connection with Krishna, right? He forgot that, oh, this baby deer is also child of God, right? But what happened? Very soon that bhava came, that emotion came. I am the sole maintainer of this deer, right? I am the sole maintainer, right? And due to this intense attachment to the deer, baby deer, it's a baby deer, it's a forest animal. How long it was going to stay with Bharat Maharaj? When the baby deer saw some, अरे मेरे जैसे चार पैर वाले ये दो पैर वाला, this guy has two legs, these those who are roaming around, they seem to have four legs like me. I'm supposed to be with them. And the baby deer went away one day, and now he goes mad. Where is my baby deer? What is Bharat Maharaj thinking? I saved it once. Now who will save my baby? Right? And while searching in the forest, he falls off a mountain cliff, thinking of the baby deer, right? And the next birth that he gets, the next life, in the consequent life, he becomes a baby deer. But because of advancement that he made in the previous life, he remembered everything. That was Krishna's mercy. Generally, we forget. We tend to forget everything that we did in past life. But Krishna says, Neha Bikramana Shosti, Pratyavayo na vidyate, Spalpam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. But Bharat Maharaj had practiced for a long time. He had reached the stage of bhava. From there, he fell. Right? Very rare case. He fell. But as deer, he could remember everything. Was always around the ashrams of sadhus, right? In good association. Right? And when he died, after that life, the next life, he became Jada Bharat. Hmm. And uh, this time, Bhagavatam says he was he was highly sensitive not to invest sentiments anywhere. Right? Last birth, I invested sentiments, right? And what happened? Oh, so Bhaktisan Thakur would say that Narad Muni took three births. Which were the three births of Narada? First as first as Gandharva, the Dasiputra, and the third one as Narada. Very good. Bharat Maharaj took three lives. Which all? Bharat Maharaj, the deer, and the Jad Bharat. Chitraketu took three lives. Chitraketu, then the Gandharva, and then Vritrasur. So Bhaktisan Thakur says, everyone is taking so long. What are you in hurry of? What are you have to be very careful on the spiritual path. So I said in the beginning, bhakti means two tracks. Viraga from sense objects and anuraga for Krishna. And while we are practicing this anuraga for Krishna, the sentiments that we have to invest in Krishna consciousness should not get diverted to sense objects again. Bharat Maharaj's case is very nicely practicing, but the baby deer, right? So life's journey is to go from, we may have been very insensitive, right, before coming to bhakti. So from insensitivity to sensitive behavior, that is Vaishnavism, right? And ultimately developing loving sentiments for Krishna, right? But what Bharat Maharaj's example teaches us is we should not let sentiments to go off track, right? Or sentimentalism to creep in. Sentiments should not become sentimentalism. Hmm? So मनुष्य जन्म पाइया राधा कृष्ण ना भजिया जानिया सुनिया विष खाइनो. We have to invest our sentiments, our love in Krishna. But while we are practicing Krishna consciousness, weak heartedness is observed, right? Very nice practicing devotees, they have been practicing for years. Something comes in the way, right? And what happens? They end up, we end up offering our sentiments in a wrong way. Hmm? So Bharat Maharaj was very compassionate. He saved the baby deer, took care of it, he looked after the deer, became attached to the deer, right? Was seeing after. uh, but the lesson to be learnt is, when we see an object of vulnerability in this world, we must become detached from it as a sadhaka. Whenever we see an object of vulnerable object, people coming in pain, people coming to us in distress, we should know how to handle it. Otherwise, our soft heartedness, right? Our soft heart tells us, let me help. I am the one they have reached to. And I am the one stop shop for all solutions, right? Why did this devotee come to me? Could have gone to anybody. Now that they have come to me, I am the one, their raksha, their protection depends on me, right? I am going to help them. Huh? So what is to be learned is when somebody, yes, or something looks very weak, they are actually very strong. When somebody looks very weak, they are actually very strong, because they can pull the strong guy down. one who is practicing very nicely. How is this guy getting pulled down? So don't think that those who appear weak are weak. They end up becoming strong ultimately. They prove themselves to be strong because they now look at Bharat Maharaj's kingdom or his family and everything. He experienced everything, right? But what happens here? uh, what do we see? Bharat Maharaj has renounced his kingdom. We may have renounced worldly pleasures like that. Now Bharat Maharaj comes to the forest. He renounced the external world, but he could not renounce the idea that I can be the protector and provider for somebody. As a king, he was the protector. He was the one who was providing to his subjects. That concept, that idea about oneself, right? If there is anything that we can be proud of, Maya is watching. And that proves to be our weakness. Maya, pride comes before the fall. Bharat Maharaj holding this pride in his heart. I am the protector. I am the provider. Right? So now, in case of Bharat Maharaj, uh, the deer was weak or strong? Weak, but proved to be strong. In case of Arjuna, the army in front of him was weak or strong? Proved to be. It proved ultimately because he started crying. And Krishna is saying, Ashuru, poor Ashuru. Arjuna doesn't look good upon you. Why? We have come here to fight. Let me see who's on the other side of the battlefield on the other side. I want to fight. What happened to you? Arjuna became weak. Another example that comes in Bhagavatam is Maharaj Yayati. Right? Maharaj Yayati, he goes out, he's going out in his kingdom, and he one time is going through some gardens, and he hears some lady's voice. Right? He hears a voice of a lady coming from a well, and that and Radha Govind Maharaj, it's not there in the Bhagavatam. He says the gardens were also separate in that era. These gardens are meant for the ladies, and these gardens are meant for the men. They would go separate. Maharaj Yayati goes out of the way. I'm the king. I'm supposed to help. What's happening here? And he goes close to the well and he sees Devayani inside the well. Right? Now, I'll not tell you the whole story behind it, it'll take a lot of time. Now, Devayani is inside the well, and this lady is inside, and she has no clothes. The king takes his Angavastra, the top, and he gives to her. Cover yourself first. And then she tells the whole story how I was thrown into the well and everything by Sharmishta. Right? And she says, please take my hand. And the king gives his hand and pulls her up. Right? And the lady says, Pani grahan to ho gaya. You've already accepted my hand. Now please accept me in marriage. Even now, Yayati says, no, this is not dharma. This is pratilo marriage. You are a Brahmani. I'm a Kshatriya. This marriage cannot happen. And the lady tells the whole story. Oh, you know, uh, I'm daughter of Shukracharya, right? And Kacha, he was there in our school, Gurukul, and I fell in love with him. And he said he didn't accept my proposal. So I cursed him that whatever you have learned from my father, you'll forget it. And Kacha, he counter cursed me. You will never get to marry a Brahmana. So ये शायद विधि का विधान है. Right? And Maharaj Yayati accepts. Right? Maharaj Yayati began attitude of service. And when did that attitude change into that of an enjoyer? The hand was given, and Bhagavatam said that time only he had started becoming weak. Right? He offered the hand to pick the lady up. The desire to serve, when it turned into a desire to enjoy, right? Bharat Maharaj, when the desire to help, right, turned into being a controller. Arjuna became weak, right? So while we are practicing bhakti, our emotions are meant for Krishna, our sentiments are meant for Krishna. Sometimes weak, you know, situations, things, people, they will come across. We have to be very, very careful how we deal with them. Otherwise, the strong will become weak and the weak will prove to be strong. So the Vaishnava's compassion should not cross over to the side of attachment. We go out to the world, we want to offer the compassion, right? We want to go out and preach. And so often we find when in the name of preaching, we may connect to people, we may come in contact with people. And what happens? They, rather than coming to our side, they pull us to their side, right? Like in India, we play the game of kabaddi. Kabaddi. You're supposed to touch somebody and run, right? But what happens? This guy goes to the other side and gets lifted only, gone. And that's what Srila Prabhupada at one time said, don't be amazed how many went away. Be amazed how many have remained and stayed back and still practicing. Because when we are practicing Krishna consciousness, our heart will is bound to become soft. And that soft heart has to be offered back to Guru and Krishna. But what happens generally, that soft heart, if some weakling comes in front of us, and then we feel, yes, I am supposed to be providing, I am supposed to be taking care. So, this transformation in Bharat Maharaj from the stage of bhava to a fallen person, right? Becoming attached to a baby deer so fast. How does that happen? Uh, uh, because our mind, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the mind is an enemy. Who can tell me the verse? Prabhupada quotes the verse also in the purports many times. Uddaret atmana at bandhur atmana at bandhur atmatmanas येनात्मैवात्मनः जितः अनात्मवत्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्ते तात्मैव वर्त्मनि. Krishna is saying your mind is the enemy. You have to be very careful. One should never think that this mind has become my friend. This mind will look for situations when it can pull us down once again. Hmm? So, in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, also you find the Avadut Brahmana comes to this conclusion. नायम जनो में सुख दुख हेतो न देवतात्मा गृह कर्म कालः मन परम कारणमाप आमनन्ति samsara chakre. He says this samsara chakre, I am going on this cycle of birth and death. He says, na, I am not responsible for it. He says, nayam jano, not these people, nobody in this world. Graha, the stars, no. Kala, time, no. Karma, no. Karma kala. He says, manaha param. The only reason is my mind, right? My mind is the cause, right? What does the mind do? Mind will give place for these anarthas to reside, right? You are great. See, so many listen to you. Look at Ramrati Prabhu, what introduction he gave. You are great man, right? Did you forget your own glory? See, people know you. Yeah, before I go anywhere, glory reaches, This crazy mind can hold on to, such things. Right? So many have come and so many have gone past by. But our glory, the mind will give place to pride. And as soon as pride comes, then other anarthas are given place. Come. Lust comes, anger comes, envy comes. And once again, a good sadhaka once again falls. So, 8:20. Okay, 8:30 will stop. So, uh, okay, let's take quick lessons. The first good lesson is our attachment feeds the weak to become strong. Let us take this lesson. Our attachment feeds the weak, right? and the weak become strong. As soon as we find, so when we are Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan knows our weakness, right? And Duryodhan plays with it, right? So our attachment feeds weak. Hmm? Uh, and while we are practicing Krishna consciousness, right? Why Srila Prabhupada is saying that we have to be very strict practicing the rules and regulations given by the acharyas, right? At no point we should find that our practice of sadhana bhakti is becoming weak. Be very strict. I'll give two examples of Prabhupada disciples. Burjan Prabhu writes in his book, when they were in Hong Kong, Srila Prabhupada came to meet them. Because Prabhupada was writing letters to them. What's going on? I sent you for preaching. What's happening? And every time reply was, Prabhupada, the Southeast Asia, people are so busy. They are working morning to night. They have no time. And Prabhupada was worried about his disciples, Gurujan Prabhu and Mataji. Prabhupada reached. They went to the airport to receive Prabhupada, and a big limousine that brought. And Prabhupada was sitting in the car behind. Prabhuji and Mataji were there. And Prabhupada's mood was, Mataji says, I understood he's angry. He's not, he's not in a mood. He's really going to be, he's going to say something. And Mataji says, I closed the small window that was there between the driver and us. We knew something is coming, so I closed it. And Prabhupada asked them, so how is your preaching going on? So they said, Prabhupada, we are doing programs and people are coming and they, like we wrote to you, they're hardly, have time here. And then Prabhupada, how is your practice going on? First, he asked about preaching, and then they asked, how is your practice going on? And when Burijanpu started explaining, Prabhupada stopped him in between and said, I want to know how is your morning program going on? And Burijanpu said, Prabhupada, people are so busy here. We have an evening program, not a morning program anymore. And Prabhupada with his cane pushed it down the car. And Prabhupada asked one question. Whose disciple are you? Burijan and Mats are like, what? What was this question? Heavy, heavy question. Prabhupada is saying, as Guru, I am given you a morning program. Why did you make it evening program? Correct? I have given you a more. So the sadhaka has to be very strict. If Guru has given something, we cannot play around with it. Right? Second example. This is our great Giriraj Maharaj. Right? So Giriraj Maharaj, during that Juhu temple, construction phase and then all that land acquiring and all that phase, the entire book Maharaj has written now, the Juhu story. Right? And Mr. N, who was the owner and who was trying to cheat devotees, he one time saw that Prabhupada is not around. Giriraj Maharaj, who is an American and a temple president, a very young brahmachari, hardly any idea about it, the way Indian systems work or don't work or whatever they do, whatever happens there, right? He one time came to the temple and told Giriraj Maharaj that I'm ready to give the whole land to you. Come on, let's go to the lawyer. Let us sign the papers. I want to give the land. Enough of this, going arguments and everything. And Maharaj was very happy. He said, come sit in the car. So Mr. N went and sat behind. Giriraj Maharaj got in, and then a lady got in. And Giriraj Maharaj says, wow, I never anticipated this will also happen. And Maharaj says, when the car started moving, this lady started touching my cloth and pushing it up and touching my thigh. And Maharaj says, for some time I was feeling nice. But then a thought came to me. Oh, if something happens today, Prabhupada's name will go bad. ISKCON's name will go bad. If I go back, how will I show my face? And he says, I loudly shouted in the car. They had to stop the car. The lady went out and I rushed out and I ran back to the temple. And Maharaj says, I got a realization that day. Maharaj says, I realized that my love for Prabhupada is more than my love for my sense gratification. My love for Guru is more, right, than the love for my sense gratification, right? So the disciple has to be very strict. The sadhaka has to be very strict with one's practice. Uh, Another lesson to be learned is, if we have practiced very sincerely under the guidance of Guru, like Bharat Maharaj, Krishna will come to our rescue. Even if we commit a mistake on the spiritual path, to err is human. And on the spiritual path, a big energy, Mama Maya, Duratteya, Krishna is saying, Mama Maya, Maya energy is very difficult to surpass. But we are all making an attempt. Maya is opposing us, but we should know, for a sincere practitioner, Krishna will save. Like Bharat Maharaj, next life, he still remembered. So, while we are practicing, we have to be very careful. Our heart is bound to become soft when we are chanting Hare Krishna and we are practicing under the guidance of Guru. But this soft heart is to be kept for Krishna, as an offering to Krishna. And we should know when to become Vajradapi Kathoram. Wait, this is not happening. Like Lord Chaitanya decides, I have to go to South India for preaching. Vajrad. No. No more sentiments now. Otherwise, Lord Chaitanya is very soft, generally dealing with devotees. So when it comes to one's rules and practice of rules and regulations, practice of one's sadhana, protecting one's devotion, one has to know at a certain point, if it's a no, then it's a no. Don't get dragged, because weak people will, seek attention. Weak people will, withdraw your strength, and weak people become strong, and the strong becomes weak. Thank you very much. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Any questions, comments, clarifications you have? Yes.
Krishna, thank you so much. I just wanted to clarify, when you say about strong sadhana, do you mean a strong sadhana on absolute level, or you mean, because we're all on different levels, right? What is the strong sadhana for you? Like,
Simply means whatever Guru has given. If Prabhupada is telling us chant 16 rounds, follow four relative principles, humbly serve and cooperate while serving in the movement, we don't need to invent new sadhana standards. We don't need to. If our superiors and gurus are giving something, just hold on to that. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasadam. If Guru is pleased, then Krishna is pleased. Right? So whatever, especially Srila Prabhupada has given, we take that much. And wherever we are, in whichever situation, whichever temple, we humbly serve, we cooperate with devotees, and we move on in bhakti. Bhakti is very simple. And going back home, back to God is also very simple. But the problem is, we make it complex. Like Karthik, right? You will find devotees will invent so many new, vows. And I'm sometimes wonder, who told you, man? Who told you to do this? Right? I'll not eat sugar. क्या होने वाला है बाबा? नहीं sugar नहीं खा के. Why are you inventing something? You should eat less sugar. I agree, Baba. You should not eat. But that should not. That's no. There's no. It's not a spiritual vow. Prabhupada is saying offer lamp. Bhakti is so simple. Simply sing Damodara Ashtaka and offer lamp morning, evening. Enough. If you can do that much, also is enough. Right? But what do we think? We think no, something new and different has to be done, and then it will be bhakti. Right? But unless we are doing it under blessings, how is it bhakti? Right? Okay. Yeah.
thank you.
Here's a question. And then, yeah. Take the mic.
So strong, this is not exactly a spiritual observation, but when strong becomes weak, weak becomes strong. So while trying to correct my daughter many times, I have to be very strong, I have to be harsh. And then what happens is her mother comes in between. And then
And she makes you weak. अरे बोलने तो
नहीं
दो
नहीं
बाबा.
तुम ऐसा नहीं करना ये वो तुम्हें you have grown up in different way ऐसे बच्चे ये हो जाते हैं. So then what happens is my daughter, she doesn't get it, then I have to become weak because both of them are together now. So but can be applied for spiritual kind of rectification as well. If I think in a grahast life, both have to kind of get that idea that you have to be harsh sometimes. You just can't be like softy all the time.
Okay. Vajrada Pikatorum, mostly Komulam. Should always be Komulam. Should always be soft. But when it's needed to teach a lesson, then we can. Otherwise, harsh nahi hona chahiye. It should not be a normal practice. That sometimes I agree. Sometimes, sometimes I agree. But what happens is, when children understand, when children get to know that, oh, Papa is attached, Mama is attached. Do you know when to touch that side of your, and everything, whatever I want will be given to me. Right? And we want to be strong and we become weak. ठीक है ले लो अब क्या है take man you also take it and we know it's not good but we provide because the strong becomes weak. Yeah, yeah. Especially in terms when you start counseling people, one has to be very careful. One devotee, he was mentioning to me, Grahastha preacher, very nice devotee preacher, he was mentioning that one family started coming to the program and they picked up so nice, picked up so quick, and I became attached to see to that they practice very nicely and move fast in their bhakti. And suddenly one day they came and said, Prabhuji, you know, Prabhuji, we we took a 7 crore loan 6 months back, right? 7 crore loan, right? Which was not revealed before, 6 months before when they began practicing, and now we don't know how to pay back. Prabhuji, we are. No, what has a preacher got to do with 7 crore loan? But this devotee was mentioning, next day morning when I was chanting, in my chanting I was thinking, how do I help them to get 7 crore? Why am I thinking of it? See, you become attached to even bringing people when you are guiding people to come to Krishna Katha, you become attached to them. And then you start thinking their material problems are my problem, which is not the case. Which is not the case. You are not, you are not a preacher, you are not a counselor, you are not a mentor to help others in their. You can give suggestions, but don't take their problems as your problems. Because if I solve their material problems, then they will become very good devotees. Is that the case? If all material problems, oh no, she also knows. She also knows it. Like if you tell your children, don't worry, I'll do all your homework. Be a good kid. Will they be a good kid? Just because you solve all their problem. Your problem is studies, right? We'll study for you. Don't worry. No, the kids won't grow up to become a good human also that way, right? Okay. Yes. Here's the last. You also? Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu, for the wonderful and important point. You kind of already answered it, but still, most of the sessions, I get the point, Prabhu, especially related to our attachments and so on. But the last point you just touched upon, sometimes devotees need help. Now, where to draw the line? Because we don't want to be hard-headed. I will lecture में सुना था ना, that's your problem. Don't come to me.
You help, but don't drown yourself.
So how to?
You help, but don't drown.
Because
See, first of
I wish it was so much easy. Black and white नहीं है ना.
hey, thoda hai, right? It's like saying, let's say I come to you and say I have a heart, I have a problem with my heart. What should you do? Do a surgery for me? What will you do? You will take me to a specialist. You'll refer me to a specialist. Same case should be done. We should know. Like, I know so many sannyasis sometimes or senior devotees, like I'll tell you one example I'm giving. Chandramouli Swami Maharaj was in our temple. And I used to be the manager in those days in 2008 and 9 for the temple. And he was in his room and the manager's phone rang and I picked it up. And Maharaj, is this the culture in your temple? You call a sannyasi and you put him in such situation. I said, Maharaj, what happened? You are in your room. Come here. I said, he doesn't get angry generally. He's a very soft person. And I went to the room. And when I opened the door, Maharaj was sitting in front. One Prabhuji, one Mataji, and their daughter is there. And when I entered, Maharaj said, look, this family came to me asking, Maharaj, we have some questions to ask you. And now when they sit here, they are telling me, Maharaj, our daughter is of marriageable age. Do you have a disciple? in America. And Maharaj told me, am I a matchmaker? And I was like, मैं क्या बोलूं महाराज अभी, you are a sannyasi, you are not a matchmaker. But I appreciated him. I appreciated him because many have caused, many have put themselves into trouble by thinking, yeah, you marry her, you marry her and you marry him. Arey, but that match should happen. Many things have to be seen. You cannot just say that you are 16 rounder, you are 16 rounder, marry. Hey Baba, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. You marriage should not happen like that just because they're chatting, right? We have not been a good daughter. We have not been a good sister. We have not been a good employee, or we have not been good anywhere. And suddenly by chanting 16 round, we become good devotees. Good बनने के लिए कुछ करना पड़ता है भाई. Just because I am able to move 16 rounds, right, does not mean that I am a good person. I am able, some Sukriti past life, I am able to. Bhakti is something different, right? So when it comes to some material help that we want to give to people, we should ask first question to oneself: am I a pro guy in this area? Am I meant for it? Right? The second question we should ask is: has anybody nominated me for this seva, or I'm here for everyone, for all problems? First, am I the guy? Right? Myself. Has anybody nominated me? Third question we should ask is: do I have experience? Yes or no? Past experience भी होना चाहिए of success of counseling that person in such situation, somebody. And then one should sit and tell the person, you are there as a devotee, this is your problem that you're coming to me, we'll solve this problem. Okay? And ultimately the ball is in your court. I'm not going to play with the ball. The ball remains with you, and I'm only going to help like this. But what happens, we purchase their problem, it becomes our problem, and our strength, we get punctured, we go down. So many devotees, then they do not understand what is called giving help in bhakti. Hmm? Okay. Yes, Ram.
Do you also take karma for giving advice?
Yeah. Not giving advice, but for giving shelter. If somebody is finding shelter in you, like, the kids go to the neighbor's house and, break something. Who gets the beating? Who comes shouting? The neighbor comes shouting on whom? Why? Why? Is it parents' karma? Who did the wrong act? The kid, the son or the daughter or the child, right? But you have given shelter, no? Then you have to take it. You have given shelter. So while practicing bhakti, sannyasis, gurus, they have to be very careful. They are playing a big role, and they are taking karma. And that's why many times when we see sannyasis or gurus facing troubles in their life, it's not their own. It's not their own. They generally are going through some disease or situations. They're taking karma. Right? Now tell me, what has a sannyasi or a guru? Some disciple in Australia does something, and the president calls guru. Tell your disciple. Which disciple? कौन बाबा? मेरे को नहीं पता. And this guy is to why I have to go through those emails and I have to hear those things? Why? But you gave shelter, right? So it's a very tough tough task to be guru or sannyasis or preachers. We have to accept. That's why we should know that I should be able to, I should know what job I am taking up, and I should know the pitfalls, and I should be careful with it. Right? But yet, as out of compassion, Srila Prabhupada went out, Prabhupada disciples going out. We also go out for preaching, book distribution. It is. Right? It is dangerous for our bhakti. But we should know, less like we go to swimming pool. And then check only in that section. Don't jump into the section. Even if it looks fun. Wow, jumping into that side of the water would be so much fun. But it will be risky. You jumping on the other side could be risky. Imagine you try to save somebody drowning now. हे बाबा, तुम पहला गिरता था, तुम दूसरे को गाय को बचाता है. Right? Call for help, man. There must be some professional, guy there who could call him. A lifeguard or somebody, call them. You take care of this, right? Otherwise, the strong will become weak. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
His Grace Kanaya Thakur Prabhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Prabhupada. So this, we'll sing Damodarashtakam.
Yes, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, thank you once again, and we hope to get more of your association in coming years. We always come and enlighten with your association. So, thank you for that.
Thank you for allowing me in all of your association.
So, we'll do Damodar Ashtakam now. We'll form a line this way, and then after that, we'll be serving prasadam in the garage downstairs.
I know I'm not the best or even a good singer. Anyone here would like to sing?
Prabhu, please. We would request you to speak.
Okay. You want to tolerate me further? I don't mind. I'll sing. नमामीश्वरं सच्चिद् आनन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले भ्रजमानम् यशोदाभियोलोकलाद्धवमानं परामृष्टमत्यन्ततो धृत्यगोप्या मोहश्वासकम्पदृक्स्वलीलाभिरानन्दकान्तम् आख्यापयन्त तदेष तदनेषु भक्तर्जितत्वं पुनः प्रेमतस्तं शतावृत्ति वन्दे पुनः प्रेमतस्तं वरं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षावधिं वा न चान्यं वृणेऽहं वरेषदपीह इदं ते वपुरनाथ गोपालबालं सदा मे मनस्य विरास्तं किमन्ये इदं ते मुखाम्भोजम् अत्यन्तनीलैर्वृतं कुन्तलैः स्निग्धरक्तैश्च गोप्या मुहुश्चुम्बितं बिम्बरक्तधरं मे मनस्य विरास्तामलं लक्षलाभै नमो देव दामोदरानन्त विष्णो प्रसीद प्रभो दुःखजालब्धिमग्नम् कृपादृष्टिवृष्ट्यातिदीनं बतानो गृहाणिश मामज्ञं मे दक्षिदृश्या कुबेरात्मजौ बद्धमूर्त्यैव यद्वत् त्वया मुचितौ भक्तिभाजौ कृतौ च तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वकाम्ये प्रयच्छ न मोक्षे ग्रहो मेऽस्ति दामोदरेह नमस्तेस्तु दाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिधाम्ने त्वदीयोदरायात् विश्वस्य धाम्ने नमो राधिकायै त्वदीयप्रियायै नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम् नमो राधिकायै त्वदीयप्रियायै नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम् हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा जय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधे। जय जगन्नाथ जगन्नाथ बलदेव जय सुभद्रा। जय गौरनिताय 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 जय गौरनिताय। प्रभुपाद 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 जय श्रील प्रभुपाद। जय श्री श्री दामोदराष्टकम की जय, सत्यव्रत मुनि की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि।